this guided lab, we will create a VPC peering connection. So if you recall what we did in lab 6, we actually create a VPC and then we're offered a shared VPC, and we have told in lab 6 that we are going to use the shared VPC later on. So in this particular lab, we will create a VPC peering connection, and that VPC peering connection will happen between lab VPC and the shared VPC lab. So as you can see here in the diagram, we have a MySQL instance in the shared VPC and want to pair it with our application server in the lab VPC. So let us now start work on the task, and we will do in step number 5. We will go to the AWS, and in my AWS account, I would like to access the VPC console, and from there, we will create a VPC peering. Now, I would like to move these two tabs so I can navigate easily between them. So let's go and to the peering connection, and you want to create a peering connection following the parameter. It will call the lab here. Now, the VPC that we want to request is going to be the lab VPC, and this is the IP address of the lab VPC. We want to select another VPC in my account, or you can also add another VPC in another account if you have permission to. So the acceptor will be the shared VPC, and you can see that it has a different CIDR IP address, and just create the peering connection. Now, after this finished, we want to go and select the lab peer, and from the action, we want to accept the request. So we are going to go to the peering connection, select it, and from action, we want to accept the request, because basically we have the requester and the acceptor from the same account. So we need to do this step here. Now we need to configure the route table, and this now will take us to the route table, and in the lab public route table for the lab VPC, we want to add and edit the route. So we add a route for the IP address of the shared VPC, and this is basically going to be the path that we take every time we want to communicate with the shared VPC. So in the lab public route table, double check guys, because it's very important to do this correctly. When go to the route, edit, and we add a route to this IP address, and this is going to be the destination for this. It should be the peering connection that we just created, the lab here, and save changes. Now in step number 14, we want to select the shared VPC route table, and in that VPC route table, we want to edit the route, and now we put path to the lab VPC. So it's going to be the other direction for the communication. So in the shared VPC route table, go to the route, edit, and add a route, and make this pointing to the lab VPC. And this is also will be the peering connection that we just created in the previous step, and then save. Now we want to test the VPC peering. So we need to go to the EC2, and from the EC2, we have our application server. As you can see, the application server here in the instances is located in the lab VPC in the public subnet, and we want to check that this lab VPC is basically enabling us to access the ARD. So if you go back to the lab instruction, they are going to give us a few configuration settings for the database. So we need to go and open the RDS as well. Let us open it in a new tab, and from that new tab, we want to go to the RDS and basically retrieve the endpoint. So to go to the inventory database, select the inventory. Now go back to your database server, and in the settings, you want to paste the inventory database. Now the database name is called inventory, and the username is going to be admin, and the password is going to be lab password. Click save, and you can see I have access. So basically by this, we finish the lab.